Hi, it's Pooja. In this video, I'll be walking you through the project management in our ERP system. Project management is planning of your projects and tracking the progress on each of the project. Both short-term and long-term projects can be managed using our ERP system. Short-term projects are managed by dividing the project into a number of tasks, which are then assigned to users. However, long-term projects requires long-term planning and therefore the projects are further divided into phases which in turn will have tasks. In this video, I'll quickly walk you through the configurations necessary for project management, that is configuring task stages, resources and work time for resources. Once it is done, I'll show you how to create projects and their related tasks and how to invoice your customers for your task work. Then we'll see how the issues are maintained in our ERP system. So now let's log in as a project manager and go to projects. The project dashboard gives you an overview of all your projects, like all your open tasks, your delegated tasks, your sprints and your issues. It also gives you your planned versus your total hours on each of the projects. Also your remaining hours on each of the project and your issues by created date. So now let's go to configurations and see how to configure task stages. To configure task stages, you have to just specify its name and description and give it a sequence number so that the task stage is carried out in a specified sequence, that is specification comes before development and so on. Once the task stages are defined, you can define your resources. I have configured a number of resources for my ERP system. So I'll just take you to the detailed view of one of the resource. As you see, to configure a resource, you just have to specify its name, its resource type, that is, it could be either be human or material, and the user. You can also specify the working period, that is the period for which the resource would be working. You can configure the working periods by going to working time. The working time can be configured by specifying a name. You can also specify the work group manager. Then you configure the days and the hours from which you will be working. Once you have everything configured for your project, you can go and create a new project. Say you want to create a project for a scientific calculator. You can make a hierarchy of project by making the current project a child of an existing project. Assign a project manager to a project and define its start and its end date. You can also define the working time for the project. The one manager, if checked, the project manager will get ERP request on completion of each of the tasks. Project escalation can be used to escalate the project to other project. The reply to email address is used such that all the automated mails will be directed to this email and will be registered automatically in our system. Okay, then you can go and define the members for your project. Then you can select the customer you would be billing for the current project. Say Daniel Thompson, and select the invoice task work, like how you're going to invoicing the task work, that is 100%, 90%. You could also have one partner checked, in which case the customer would be regularly updated with your project progress. You can specify mail header and mail footer for sending customized mails. Then you can define task stages, which we just configured. Then you can specify additional notes. Now we'll go and save our projects. You can create tasks related to this project. We'll create new tasks. Say we have to firstly design class diagrams and UML diagrams. For our project Scientific Calci, then the deadline is say Tuesday. Then the person assigned to it, that is one of the members of our projects. Then you can specify the time plan for this task. Then in the delegation step, you have parent tasks. Like here you could list down all the tasks which have to be completed before the current tasks. Now due to some reason, if you are unable to complete the task, you could delegate it to the other users, in which case the task would be listed here. You could specify additional information like the starting and the ending date, the sequence number, the project phase, the partner, and so on. So we'll save this task. Initially, the project task is in the draft stage. That is, the person whom it is assigned to has not yet approved the task. So suppose I approve the task. Now the task is in progress. However, if due to some client reply I'm waiting for, I could put it in a pending state saying that the task is currently blocked. Or I could cancel it if the task is no more required, or mark it done if it is successfully done. Say I've started working on a task and I have finished with the UML diagram. And I've spent 5 hours on it. Then I'll go and save my task. We see that the progress is automatically updated, that is, the 50% of the task is done. Once I do my tasks, I can go and invoice my customers. So let's go to projects and invoicing. You see an entry made for designing the calculator. So we'll check it and click on invoice analytic lines. For creating an invoice, you have to select the product. In our case, it is service. So we'll select it and create an invoice. We now see that the invoice is in the draft stage. If it is valid, we could mark it valid and go for the payment from the customer by selecting required payment method and validate it. Okay, so now let's go and see issues in project management. When your project is on production and the customers find bugs or maybe new features they are wishing for, you will come and create an issue. You could configure an email ID such that the email sent to that ID will be automatically registered as issues in our system. I'll take you to an edit view of an existing issue. You have to define an issue related to a project, assign the person responsible for the issue and assign it to a particular person, then select the partner who has reported the issue and create the issue. That's all for this video. Thank you.